Have you ever replayed the same painful memory or conversation in your head over and over again? Like your mind just won't let it go. It just won't let it go. Well, that's called rumination. And while it may seem harmless, it can quietly drain your peace and even, yes, even harm your health. And that's what we're going to talk about today, okay? Hi, my name is Vani. Welcome back to my channel, Healthy Done My Way. So today we are going to explore what rumination is and how it affects your mental health, your physical health. And two, we'll figure out how you can break that cycle through both looking at signs and scripture. You gamed? Okay, let's get started. So let's start out with what is rumination? Well, this rumination thing happens when your mind loops on negative thoughts, past regrets, or what ifs. What if this happened? What if that happened? What if I would have said that? What if I would have said this? You see, that's not reflection. What that is mental repetition that keeps you stuck in this cycle, this looping. So Proverbs 23:7 reminds us, as a man thinketh in his heart. Your heart is that subconscious part of your brain, okay? As a man thinking in his heart, so is he. So basically, when your thoughts are unhealthy, well, our bodies begin to carry that weight, those negative thoughts, and we become unhealthy. So why? Why is it we ruminate? Well, science tells us that our brain are wired to solve problems. When something hurts, we replay it over and over again, trying to understand it. But when there's no answer, guess what? The brain keeps looping, thinking that it's working on the issue. So we just keep going on and on and on, back and forth. Does that sound familiar? So why are we called? But this is why we are called to renew our minds daily. This renewing of the mind process is simply choosing thoughts, emotions, our words, and that shapes our action. I'm losing my thought. That in turn can lead to better awareness, peace, joy, purposeful living. That sounds good. But here's the thing. How does it affect our health? Why does it affect our health? Well, it keeps your stress hormone like cortisol elevated. This is how it affects our health, which causes inflammations. Okay? It also can lead to poor sleep, exhaustion, fatigue, and your immune system is weak, making it you more acceptable to get sick. It also increases your risk for anxiety disorder, depression, and heart disease. This is what ruminating, looping those negative thoughts over and over and over will do to us. You see, our body doesn't know the difference between remembering something, we're just thinking on something, or we're actually living it out. The body doesn't know that. So the body starts to react as if it is happening in the now, in the present. Whoa. So tell me, how do we stop ruminating? How do we stop this cycle? Well, I have a few strategies that I know works because I have been using it. Okay. One of them is name it. When you catch yourself overthinking, ruminating, say, oh no, I'm ruminating. I know what this is. Recognize it. And that awareness breaks the cycle. And once you named it, okay, here's what you need to do. Shift your focus. Start exercising. You move, pray, start singing, listen to music. This helps you to get grounded in the present, that present moment. It pulls you out of those thoughts into the now. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So the third strategy is this: renew your thoughts. What does that mean, Vani? Well, I am so glad that you asked. I know, I'm being silly. Okay, renew your thought is simply replace those looping, worried, junky, unwanted thoughts with truth and with gratitude. Just think about what's good, okay? And Philippians 4:8 tells us, and this is what it tells us, and I like this scripture because I use it all the time. Think on things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely. You get the picture. And that brings down your cortisol level, that's for sure, because you're calming yourself and you're giving yourself room to think properly, to think clearly. Okay? So the fourth strategy is write it down. Simply write it down. By doing so, journaling like this, it takes the thought, it takes your thoughts out of your head, put it onto paper, and it allows you to process it, to look at it from a different angle, from a different perspective. And in doing so, this helps reduce the power and the emotional weight that it has on you. Then that's where you can take control. Does that make sense? Okay. So the fifth strategy is this: challenge the thoughts. Bring those thoughts under captivity. Behave like an FBI agent interrogating those thoughts. And simply ask this: is this helping me? Is it serving me? What good is these thoughts from me? And if it's not helpful, yes, release it. And this can be done in part by incorporating the previous steps that I was telling you about, like name it, shift your focus, renew your thoughts. I'm looking at my notes, those things. And the next one is, if you really need to, please seek help. It's okay if you need help. A therapist can help you build tools to manage it. Or if you have a good, trusted one or two friends that can think objectively and have the capability and, or should I say, ability to help guide you in a way that is acceptable for your situation, then consult with those individuals. Okay? I have to say that incorporating these steps isn't about ignoring your thoughts. No, we're addressing it. We are attacking it. We are giving it full attention so we don't have to be caught up in our mind, because this helps you to free your mind from living in those thoughts. Okay? We don't want to live in the thoughts. So don't allow your thoughts to hold you hostage or captive. You're in authority. You are in the control seat. You are. That's right, you are. So the next time you catch yourself stuck in a loop, and I'm really getting fired up about this. Man, take a deep breath. Just breathe. Just simply breathe and remind yourself that you have the power, you have the authority and the ability to free yourself from these unwanted little thoughts. So take control of the wheel. Again, like I said, you're in the driver's seat. You are the one behind the wheel. Take control and master that. And it can be done. And at first, I know it seems overwhelming, and it can be overwhelming at times, but here's the thing. Start with simple, silly things, okay? And I'm losing my train of thought. This is not to try to get it all done, okay, one and done. No, what you might want to do is, just like I said, start with the simple things and go from there, because there are serious matters that you're going to have to spend more time with. I get that. That's why I encourage you to start with something simple, Let me give an example. What is this? Where was this? Day before yesterday, I have gone to this store that often have items that turn over really fast. So if you see it right then and there, you have to get it because the next day or it may not be there. So I chanced it. I said, okay, I'm not going to get it today, but I'm going to come back tomorrow because I didn't have cash with me and I wanted to pay cash. I didn't want to put it on my card. So I said, I took the chance. I'll come back the next day. And I did. I went back the next day and guess what? It was gone. And I went, oh. And I really needed that item simply because I've been looking up for this item for months and I finally found it in this place. So I said to myself, okay, it didn't it bothered me a little bit. I was driving home, I thought about it, and I kind of looped a little bit, but I was aware that I was looping, and I give myself a little time to do that, maybe a minute, 2 minutes, and then I came home about an hour, 2 hours later. That thought came over me again, and I started to feel some kind of sad way, and I said, okay, I'm going to address this. And what I did, I took the strategy number 5. I'm looking at my notes, challenge those thoughts. I went, okay, Vonnie, yes, you did. I didn't say you did mess up. I said, be kind, okay? I said, Vonnie, yeah, you should have gotten the items there because you know there's a quick turnover. But, however, what can you do the next time? And then I answer myself back and I talk out loud when I'm talking to myself. And I said, well, the next time I'll get it, even if I don't have the cash that I want to pay for. I put it on my card, no matter if the lines are long, it doesn't make a difference, just get it. And I said, okay, then we're good. So about 4 hours later, it came, the thought came again. And, and I said to the thought, I didn't feel some kind of way this time. I was kind of agitated because the thought came back for the third time. And I said, didn't we handle this before? Didn't we have this discussion earlier? And didn't we solve the problem? And I answered myself and said, yes. And then that was it for me. My point is this. It's going to take you time to get to the point whereby it can be that short of a time in dealing with your thoughts. But here's the point. The point is, as you do it, you get better at it and better. I mean, back in the not so far days, months, years, I guess you can say, I would let my thoughts run rapid in my head and it was in control. But then now that I started controlling it and questioning it, and I often use strategy number 5, and that is challenge your thoughts, interrogate it, bring it under captivity. I constantly use that one. And I also use like scripture or something like that. But just use what works for you, okay? These strategies, they really work. They really do. You don't have to do them all. You can pick 1 or 2 or 3. However, or you have your own. And so put it in the comment below because I would like to know about those, okay? So I think that's it. But basically, don't let your thoughts hold you hostage, okay? All right? You have the power and you have the authority. So there. Okay, I said enough, and I think that's it. Okay, so remember, do health your way. You have the power. Okay? Thank you for listening. Bye.